Welcome to episode 3.
Episode 3, coming right at you. Appreciate HQ.
How are you doing today?
Great. Well,
So you were playing
I'm wrecked.
last night to give context to the listeners?
for context to the listeners, well, we're a bit overdue on our podcast.
No, we're good.
We're good?
Every 4 weeks. As long as I get this edited tomorrow, we'll be good. We'll be on time. But yeah, so you were playing last night, first time back in how long? 8 weeks? 12 weeks?
12 weeks. Yeah, first time back in 12 weeks. Yeah, it went alright. Like, I was worried. I always worry coming back after a long time not playing. So you could come back after time off in the summer. Even after having a tough preseason, or no matter how much fitness or training you've done, nothing really quite replicates a game. So it's always about you always have those nerves that am I going to be blowing in a minute's time here after kickoff basically.
Yeah.
But I felt great. I think the work that the physios and SSC lads did with me in the time off kind of really stood to me. So I felt surprisingly good out there.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Is everything... So, let's say I get injured, right? I go to just a physio, she tells me what to do, and I have to do it all on my own.
Yeah.
Poor me. Is everything is everything that you do supervised? Or is there stuff that you have to hold yourself accountable and be like, I need to do that? In terms of your rehab exercises.
No, majority of it's all
Supervised.
which is I'm incredibly lucky in that sense that you get the top quality kind of care and top quality physios advice on what to do, what not to do, how to best look after it to get back as soon as you can in the best time frame that allows it to fully recover. So that's I remember I was chatting with one of the lads about this recently, that how much more difficult it is for an AIL player playing in the top league in Ireland, but even still, if they have a ACL injury or they're similar to mine, a calf injury, how much tougher it is to, I suppose, get back playing and get back. I suppose it's even that confidence thing as well. Get back to that same player you were before you got injured.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing, and that's why I'm so lucky to be in the position I am. I'm so lucky to have great staff in Leinster and in Ireland as well.
Yeah.
That you're getting looked after, but it is so tough, I'd say, for not just for anyone who gets injured.
Yeah.
To, I suppose, to first of all get a decent physio, because you never really know what you're getting yourself into. If you've never had to have a physio or do a rehab program before, and then you have the accountability on yourself to go and do the rehab sessions.
Yeah.
That the physio has prescribed you. So
it's I ruptured my pec 3.5 months ago, had surgery, going to an excellent physio, and I work in the gym and I'm still really struggling to get my exercises done. But obviously, if you had someone, if you near Max Ryan, if you had someone, don't worry, he's supervised. If you had someone, just making you do it it does, obviously makes it way easier. Anyway,
it takes the guesswork out of it, and makes it kind of it pushes you, I suppose, to do everything correctly, and it also helps having someone there being okay, correcting your form, same as a PT or a coach. Someone there to hold you accountable on days where you might wake up and be oh God, I might skip it today, but I can't do that because it's my job, I suppose.
I suppose just having a personal trainer or
a
gym you book into.
Yeah. Like ours. Like 3 State.
And last question then about the game. So you had done... Is there any part of your head, right, when you're going into your first scrum, and you're did you think about your calf?
Yes and no. I thought about it in the week before when I was in training, when I was kind of hitting the first few scrums, that I was kind of
okay,
this is exactly how it happened. This is exactly what injured it 12 weeks ago. So like you kind of go into that, but you also have that kind of the comfort in knowing that you've done all the work with physio to, I suppose, negate the kind of risks involved with it. So I remember, and I had this chat with my physio, like Rob, like who's like incredible, like attention to detail is just incredible. But I had this conversation with him where a lot of players will have maybe like a legacy injury where they might have a hamstring problem for a while, and they're kind of hesitant in their actions on the pitch, which might even cause like the injury if you weren't kind of fully committed to it. Yeah. Let's say like you're going in over a poach, like on the ball, and you're kind of like half like thinking about should I do it, and then you go into the wrong moment, and then that's what does it. Instead of doing what I suppose you've done before, and I suppose having that confidence is huge as well.
So that kind of cautiousness, hesitancy can actually increase risk of injury.
Yeah. It's like
fascinating.
It's like if you like were going in for a tackle or something, and you had a bad shoulder, and you go in and you're slightly relaxed into it, and your body's just like not as like tensed up as it should be, and you're slightly relaxed, and your shoulder goes back or something. It's kind of that kind of premise. That's the way he kind of explained it to me. But yeah, I think that's confidence plays a huge role in that as well.
Yeah. So one question we got a few weeks ago was around like adapting your training around injury. So you obviously had to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Your but in a sporting sense. But let's talk about it in a general population sense. So look, we get a lot of people here in Three State who would pick up injuries, because picking up a niggle, right, or it isn't really an injury, right, or going through pain is very much a normal part of resistance training and starting resistance training. So it's firstly important to know that this is normal. And even though you might pick up these bits of niggles or pain or injury, that it's really important to know that these are very small negatives in comparison to not exercising at all. Because some people they might come in here, they might start, and they're like, I've hurt my back. My back was never really sore before starting resistance training, so I'm just going to stop resistance training. Yeah. But really, we know that the long-term benefits of resistance training, like it's so important for our long-term health. So it's always important to remember that if I could potentially work around the injury, and we'll talk about that now, that will be much better than maybe just completely stopping. Yeah. So I think the first thing that could be helpful maybe for the audience, it's weird, I'm like speaking to you, but also to the audience, for you to
you guys out there,
for people to work on it, is the mindset around, you can easily work around pretty much any injury. Yeah. And like, just not saying like you have to, work through any pain or work that body part, but the rest of your body, you can do things.
Definitely.
I think that's just really, really important to remember, and remembering that anything is better than nothing. Yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect. But
don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
There you go. Up on the wall outside. So that would be my first kind of thought around training around an injury.
Yeah. It's definitely like fair enough even about the like physical benefits of steel training, but even just the mental side of things. Being able to train and I was lucky enough that I was able to keep training, and it wasn't I suppose something that I had to basically just put my feet up and not like move around at all. And I was quite lucky in the sense it was only my calf, that I wasn't like on crutches or anything, or I was in a boot for less than a week on it. And then I was relatively free to kind of walk around and do everything within kind of a pain. Like a lot of the physios and stuff would say like don't do anything above kind of like a pain range of like 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 would be a fine on it, that you're not kind of stressing it or like pushing or like damaging it further. But I found being able to train and be able to adapt my training, no matter what injury I've had in recently or in the past, has been just like incredible for my body. I definitely feel the differences in it, but more so like for my mental health as well, because like I suppose it's something that I just love doing. I suppose I'm lucky that I have that kind of that drive that I just love doing it. Yeah. But also like it's my job at the end of the day that I have to, I suppose, stay in relative shape and relative condition as well. So like there's that side of it where it's quite different to a lot of other people who might have just picked up the gym or training for the first time, and they pick up an injury and it's like, okay, now I have to I suppose I should stop fully now. But like that's the thing, you can adapt your training so much. There's so much variables to it, and that you can change up. Like you can, like I suppose if you have a bad knee or something, you could change out a squat for like a hex bar, where it's putting less load on your knee. Like there's so many different variables in kind of resistance training and conditioning that you can do. Like I couldn't run for, I think it was like 6 weeks, so I was just going hard on like the bike and the road and the skier, just on repeat pretty much. So just like being able to keep my body moving has just made it, I suppose, it made a huge difference to my return to play, but also just the whole process of it made it so much easier. It made it go by a lot quicker, because if I stopped doing anything, I suppose that's when like you really was like, oh, I'm injured, I can't do anything. I start feeling a bit sorry for myself, and then I suppose that would have a knock-on effect on other things like outside, because my training space is incredibly important to me. I suppose. So
I suppose to summarise, there's always something you can do. Anything's better than nothing, but I'd like to caveat it all with the fact that, you know, we're not specialists in pain. You know, physio. If you have an injury, you should be going to a physiotherapist.
Don't listen to me when they'll be like, oh, Andrew Porter said train through my sciatica.
Swap out. I need pain. Swap out the squat for a hex bar. But yeah, there's definitely consult a physiotherapist. Work with them. That, you know, if you have an injury.
Yeah, and I think it is that trust kind of element as well. I think some people can think they know best. They're like, oh, like the doctor or the physio said to do this, but I think it'd work better if I just kind of take it slow, or like I might just like we've said, might just stop altogether. But like there is that trust element that you have to kind of put your faith in the professionals. At the end of the day, of the physios, of the
I think there's kind of like this happy medium between not okay, both of us would do resistance training frequently, and like I'd often have a bit like a niggle in my elbow or something, and it's a happy medium between like not being like immediately, okay, I must go to physio now, but being like, right, I noticed that, is it worsening, like is it worse next week or the week after? Has it not improved a lot? Okay, well now maybe it's a good time. That
comes with training experience. At the end of the day, but like throughout the season, throughout a rugby season, for me, like you're gonna pick up knocks like dead legs on a game on a Saturday, and you have to go in and train on a Monday, or like Monday is kind of like our heavy kind of lifting day in the gym. So if I couldn't do a full squat, I'd go and do a box squat, where it's like a little less taxing on my legs, or like they might kind of like it's the S&Cs and physios are great in Leinster at knowing when, okay, he needs, I suppose, to kind of maybe do kind of 50% of training here, because he's like they see your meters in the games on the weekend, so they'd be like, okay, like you do part of the session and then you can sit the rest out, just watch the rest. So there's that, but like it's also knowing your body as well, that when, I suppose, to push yourself and when to kind of, I suppose, pull back a small bit. Like, I'm not going to be doing like 3 rep maxes or 1 rep maxes the whole time through the season, because I know my body just wouldn't be able to take it with the kind of attritional nature that rugby is, and it's a contact sport at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That you're bound to pick up some kind of niggle or knock somewhere along the season that you just have to like mind yourself. But I always found that movement is kind of the best thing. Like even after a game, and I could be like in a body bag. Like after a game, I always find movement is far much better than just kind of sitting on the couch and putting the feet up. Like my body will thank me for it the day after that I've got up and moved.
And when you say movement, what would that?
No, like it could be going for a walk.
Yeah.
It could just be like getting out of the house.
Yeah.
Getting like I love going for walks. Like even just getting out in nature, clear the head. That sitting on a bike, like just doing kind of like low intensity stuff, but it's that thing where I'm doing something rather than like there's time and place for putting the feet up and relaxing. Yeah. Like I think the best type of recovery is doing nothing sometimes. Yeah. Mental switch off, physical switch off. But I always find that movement kind of lubricates the joints there again. Yeah.
Yeah. I find the same. Yeah. If you've really bad DOMS or delayed onset muscle soreness, kind of scientific term, when like you do a lot of exercise and you feel that really it can be really debilitating. Like getting up and down,
getting off the toilet.
Like can be incredibly painful sometimes. Yeah. And even sore to touch. It's a very normal thing after a hard resistance training session, especially if you haven't done anything in a while. But yeah, it can be. But I always find if you want to again go train the next day, one of the best things you can do is just like a proper warm up, and then suddenly like the pain is kind of gone.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. You said to me before this podcast, you're like, I need to sit down with you and talk about like language.
Yeah.
I want to bring up that topic because we didn't get into it, right? So what did you mean by that?
I think because Josh is a very, very good dietitian and he's very good at what he does. You're very good at what you do. Like talking to the camera and to Josh, sorry. But even just, I suppose, the language of coaching and the language that we use around, I suppose, nutrition. Like you see everywhere now, everywhere over social media, on TV. Like I suppose there's so much information out there, and I suppose it's the way you speak. You speak to people. The way people receive information is incredibly important. Because I think there is that kind of nutrition is something that's it's a difficult thing for a lot of people to get their head around. Like it is, like you can simplify it, but like even I think for a lot of people it's tough just the concept to grasp and kind of what to eat, what like people feel like, oh, what to eat, what not to eat, like, oh, what's good food, what's bad food. Yeah. So I think the way you kind of explain that in a dietetics kind of way, a dietitian's way, is really like, it's really admirable and really, I suppose, beneficial for wider audiences.
Yeah.
Is that something like you've had to kind of keep yourself in check on, or is that something you've just kind of...
Something I've just learned over time. Like I think probably the best place to start is like I believe that the health and fitness industry is largely about short-term transformations, quick fixes, all or nothing mindset, black and white thinking, before and after photos, which you would see a lot of this on social media. Whereas I think the approach I am trying to, maybe work with people on is more about, long-term sustainable change, more around supporting their behaviors, taking more of a health focus rather than, you know, that short-term aesthetic focus.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is, you know, when I speak to people, it is about, you know, the language that I'd use. I think you can do a lot of harm. You know, people who maybe have a disordered relationship with food, like they'll often pick up on the one thing you said.
Yeah.
That, like, for example, I was doing talks last week for a secondary school, and again, I'd be really careful about the language I use. But obviously, you're up on stage for 45 minutes, and you know you can say things maybe that you
just let slip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I said this right, but anyways, I know one of the parents of the daughters who was in the class, and she went home and wouldn't eat a white bread sandwich the next day because she said that I said they put bleach in the bread. No, I didn't say that.
That does sound like something you would say.
But I did say something around like white bread and brown bread, and I was like, white bread is less nutritious, brown bread would be more nutritious. But I also talked about that, like, food is way more than nutrition, it's lots of other things. Anyway, maybe then she potentially saw something else around the bleach. I don't know. But anyway, I was like, that's the one thing, like, of everything I say. So you have to be really careful because people pick up on tiny things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be super careful with my language. And, you know, one of the things you mentioned about, like, good and bad food, so I would try to move away from that language because I am not a bad person because I'm going to go eat now. Probably I'm going for lunch. I'm probably going to have some kind of like grilled cheese kind of sandwich or something.
Yeah.
Right? Generally, people say it's a high in saturated fat. It's probably got a lot of calories in it. But like, I'm not a bad person because I'm going to eat that.
Yeah.
But people do put this moral value on food, and when we think about foods as good and bad, you might eat some of the foods that are in that bad category, and subconsciously maybe think you're bad because of that. Or another one would be like dirty, you know, clean foods.
Yeah.
It's like I'm eating very clean at the moment, and this one actually probably comes up maybe more than the good and bad thing. But then that implies that, like, other foods are dirty, and then, like, somewhere deep down, maybe you feel like you're a dirty person because you've eaten that food.
Yeah, or you have that kind of guilt over you, like, after you've eaten it, and you're like, oh, now I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah, and then oftentimes people eat because of their emotions. It's a very normal thing, and then you actually might end up, like, restricting that food, and then eating more of it, and then so you kind of get this binge restrict cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, rather than good and bad, it's more nutritious.
Yeah.
On a continuum, so food can be very, very nutritious. Let's just take bread, for example. Like, the nuttiest, seediest, browniest bread is, like, on the more nutritious side.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's a continuum of loads of different bread choices, probably all the way down to, like, just like your plain white sliced bread.
Yeah.
White sliced bread is not bad, but it's certainly less nutritious than the nuttiest, seediest bread.
Yeah.
But then that's only nutrition. And food provides way more value than nutrition. It's connection, joy, grief, all these other things. You have to take into account costs, your environment, you know, what's going to be sustainable for you. There's so many different factors.
Yeah.
And this is called continuum thinking. I get people to try think on these,
like, on a wider scale rather than just putting them in a box.
And then you can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be right or wrong. There are no rules.
Yeah.
But there's just these gentle continuums that you kind of live your life on and make your food choices.
Yeah.
That's
like, I think that's especially important for, like, younger minds. Like you said the other day, it's like, I'm speaking as well in, like, for myself, as like, you'd be told that, oh, don't eat this, don't eat that, like, don't, like, that's bad, like, and then you're locked into that, and then that one day you're like, oh, I really want, like, a piece of chocolate, you really want something, and then you're like, oh no, what have I done? I've gone off, like, I'm off the wagon, basically, like. So I think, like, the way that you describe that, like, especially, is incredibly important for younger people who are a lot more impressionable, and kind of more likely to take things face value. No, that's, like, I always thought that was incredibly, like, important for me to try and build into the way I kind of my everyday language around it, because I'm like, food is incredibly important for me, and I see it as fuel for my body. I don't see it as anything other than, like, I enjoy food. I go out and enjoy food.
Yeah.
And
you like a good steak?
I love a steak. Like, I could go to the nicest Italian restaurant. They could have the most world famous pasta dish or like linguine or whatever, and I'll just get a steak. I just stick to what I know. Steak and chips.
What would be your, this podcast?
Death row meal.
Is that what it's called? No, it's not called that. But anyway, what would be your death row meal? Sorry, yeah, go on.
See, that's tough. See, I love like fried chicken as well. Fried chicken is like something like, I'm just like, I'll want it like once in a while, because like after I've had it, I'm like, okay, that's like, if I have it again, I'll be sick of it. Like I love like little and often, because like then I know it's like, oh, I can't wait to have this.
Oh yeah. So KFC, like?
No, a bit nicer than KFC.
Where did you get nicer? Where do you get good fried chicken?
Oh, I can't remember where I had it. This is the thing, like, that's the problem when I don't have it that often. I'm like, I forget. This is my ADHD mind talking now. So I forget where I've gotten it, and then I'm like searching for ages.
There's one in Dunleary, I think. Oh, I think the Firebird or something.
Firebird. Yeah, I've had it before. I think my wife had it before, and I stole half of her.
I actually love fried chicken as well.
Yeah. It's like one of those things, like, I don't have that often, but I'm just like, when I have it, I'm just like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
That, I probably have that, like.
You have to pick one here, like.
Oh, but is it like do I get a big meal, or is it like?
Sure, yeah, go on.
I get that as like a starter.
Okay.
And then I'll have like the thickest, like, ribeye, like Côte de Boeuf, like 32 ounce. The usual steak order. It's like, that's what, like, anytime I go out to eat, I eat for two people. I get the sharing steak for me, and I usually get Elaine to get the sharing steak so I can have half of that as well. So yeah, dinner's quite expensive usually when we go out. I've actually started to start like pre-eating before we go out to dinner, just so I don't end up spending so much money when we're out for dinner.
So fried chicken. Starter, Côte de Boeuf.
Côte de Boeuf.
Side on with the
fries,
or is it like
cream spinach.
Cream spinach.
Cream corn that Shanahan's used to do. It's not there anymore. Some kind of mash. Oh, like a potato gratin or something. Anything with garlic in it, and like garlic butter, and then like a sundae for dessert. What about you?
Ice cream sundae, like.
Yeah.
And would you have an alcoholic drink? Or like.
I'd have like a Moscow Mule or something. Yeah.
A copper mug, like.
Yeah, I think I just like the copper mug rather than the look of it. Rather than.
I love a Moscow Mule as well.
Yeah. You actually got me on Amaretto Serras before. I never had them before.
I got you on them.
Yeah.
That was before we launched.
Yeah. Well, we have with the coaches. Yeah. I'd never had them before, and they're like one of my favorite things.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be your death row meal?
I'd be stuck between, like, prawn pil brings a lot of memories.
Yeah.
For me as a kid, I still love it. Like, I go to Spain a lot. Still go to Spain a lot. I'd still get prawn pil there.
Yeah.
I think like a prawn pil from Spain.
Proper one. Get it flown in.
You get it flown in. I could have my death row meal in Spain. And then I think I'm Côte de Boeuf as well. Like, again, brings a lot of memories, good memories with my dad eating Côte de Boeufs. He was the first person who introduced me to them. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a ribeye on the bone.
Yeah. Big boy one, like.
Yeah, go with the big one. I wouldn't eat as much as you now.
I'll finish yours.
I don't want to feel sick after. Like, I don't like that feeling. You know, like you just feel.
Oh, you feel like it's like that Christmas dinner feeling, where you're just like, I know I should stop eating here, but.
Aside of, I think like chopped up roast potatoes.
Yeah. Extra crispy ones though.
Extra crispy, cream spinach, some some tender stem broccoli or something, and a beer.
And a beer. What beer? These are the hard questions.
I actually probably go with an IPA.
Ooh.
Yeah, just
I wouldn't be about
actually,
that.
no, I wouldn't. I'd go with the Canya. Canya is just any beer from Spain in a small glass, and they stay really cold, so you can have lots of them. Like, I love drinking Canyas.
I thought it was like a Canya. I thought you were going to say like a Canya. A
glass.
Canya of anything. Like.
It's a glass of beer. Way better than drinking big pints, I think. And then dessert. I don't even know I don't really like dessert that much.
Really?
But, I don't really have any favourite desserts. Cheesecake.
A solid bet. Like that's. Hopefully we don't actually. We should just do like next time we're here. We should do like our death. We're actually eating our death row.
We should cook and do the podcast, but that'd be quite funny. But so anyway, even us talking there about food, it just shows you that food is far more than nutrition.
Yeah.
Know? But it's very easy for people to forget that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, even just asking yourself the question, like, how have you benefited from a meal other than nourishment or nutrition?
Yeah.
Well, I got to spend time with my friend who I haven't seen in ages.
Yeah.
Or like it tasted incredible. Like,
yeah,
it was a great experience. So there's all these other benefits to food.
Yeah.
And it's about being, I think, empathetic, compassionate with yourself. That, like, sometimes we do eat for other reasons, like grief or joy or sadness.
Yeah.
And that can be okay too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd have a pretty like holistic, gentle way of maybe working with people, and yeah, maybe that's slightly different than some people in the health.
In fairness, that's quite rare to see, because like obviously like you were saying, everyone's looking for that immediate fix. We're in like the age of convenience. Like, we're in the age where you can get anything at the click of a button. So I think like that's the way people's brains are wired now, that like if I'm paying for something, I should get it now. I should get it in like 2 weeks time. Or if like I'm doing a gym program and I'm not seeing results in 2 weeks, I'm gonna change my gym program.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't happen like that. And realistically, it doesn't happen like that. And people, I think, dress it up that way a lot, that it's like, oh, like remember like 6-pack shortcuts on YouTube. I remember that there was a channel like 6-pack shortcuts, and everything was like, oh, like 6 minutes, like Albert get like in 4 weeks time, and they'll have like a picture of this fitness model or whatever, like, and then people wonder like, oh, why don't I look like that? It's been 4 weeks. So like, I think
the skill of delayed gratification.
Yeah. So like, it's that sustainability thing as well. Like, people don't see the results in, like, they don't get that, I suppose, that quick fix. They don't get that instant gratification. They go back to, like, it can be disheartening for a lot of people. They can go back to, oh, it's same with the injury. Same like if I'm injured, I'm not going to train. So they go back to near like square one.
Yeah.
And they go back to kind of, I don't know, like whatever, like, they're not, I suppose, optimizing. They're not, I suppose it's a tough place for people to be.
Really tough.
Yeah, like, because there's so much information out there. There's so many people, I suppose, pushing the quick fix.
Yeah, and like, social media is just a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
So you're just seeing, the before and afters that are often edited, or it's not really what the person looks like, and you're constant. I actually say to a lot of my clients I work with that again, I would never tell someone what to do.
Yeah.
Because the person always has to come up with their own plan, and you just have guided them.
Yeah.
And you're a bit of a soundboard, but oftentimes something that will come up would be the idea of just unfollowing everyone on social media.
Yeah.
And even going onto your feed, not your main feed, I forget what it's called, suggested feed, I
Yeah.
think. Like you could hold images and click, not interested,
Yeah.
or hide more or something. And that works really well. So are things like triggering you, or like if you can identify the things that potentially are causing you, aren't helpful for your long-term behaviors, it can be really helpful to just unfollow. Because I actually think for most people, if they just went to a dietitian, it's the difference between a nutritionist and dietitian. There is so many nutritionists who are so much better than many dietitians. But the difference between nutritionists and dietitian has to do a 2-year master's or a 4-year undergraduate, and as part of that, they have to do a certain number of kind of placement hours and get practical experience. There's all these kind of regulations around dietitian. You have to do a certain amount of CPD. You have to renew your certificate every year. For nutritionists, just broadly the term, like anyone could call themselves a nutritionist.
Yeah.
So the barrier to entry is really, really low. But that means that there's amazing nutritionists who are, as I said, far better than many dietitians. But at least if you're going to a dietitian, you know that this person has to have done this level of education.
Or they're like regulatory requirements.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of shit dietitians.
Yeah.
Know? But you probably have a better chance of getting someone, who's, up to date with the evidence.
Yeah.
Knows how to work with people, whatever. But with a nutritionist, you're putting yourself at risk maybe of working with someone who maybe is crap.
Yeah.
Right. But that's why I think for most people, like they just unfollowed everyone, went to a dietitian for like 3 or 4 sessions even, and like then you'd have a lot of the skills.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to be. I was reading something the other day that like 11% of the US population are following the national dietary recommendations. But yeah, like there's all these new fancy things coming out, but like we just need to probably do the basics really well.
Yeah.
And that's what a dietitian will help you work on.
Yeah. That's what I think is like things can get overcomplicated so much with so much information, so much conflicting evidence, and that's like in any kind of sphere, kind of in any kind of way of life, there's always going to be kind of conflicting evidence where you don't know what to believe anymore, I suppose.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I think another tip for people is this idea that, so if you ask me a question, right, I'm not going to give you a one-word answer.
Yeah.
It's not going to be yes, it's not going to be no. It's going to be something like, it depends, or I'll ask you, why do you ask that? Or so there's always context and a lot of nuance to the answer.
Yeah.
But that's a sign that like the person really knows what they're talking about. But if you see like black and white, yes or no, people speaking in that way on social media, like it's a warning flag.
Yeah.
They might be absolute experts in their field and know so much, but like I would say that's a sign that the person maybe isn't evidence based.
Yeah.
Because they're just quick answers.
Yeah. Like that's like I could do a nutrition course over the weekend and then call myself a nutritionist. And then on Monday I'm giving out nutritional advice.
Yeah, and you'd have a lot more people would listen to you than they'd listen to me, because you have a huge following. People are like, oh my god, if Andrew Porter is telling me to do this, like I have to do. But this is imagine, like this is what so many people are doing with big followings.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a nightmare to be.
Yeah.
It's so hard for people, I think.
I'm not coming for you, Joe, don't worry.
So someone asked about fit tech.
Yeah.
And
like Whoops.
You don't have your Garmin on there?
No, I haven't worn mine in ages.
Oh,
no.
interesting.
I used to wear it like religiously. I remember I got it back in like 2019, like ages ago, and yeah, I just kind of I used it more because I wanted to. I suppose there was like that competition, because like, do you know the way you can like sync it to like other people who have it, and then we'd all be like who can get the highest strain like in training and stuff, and like it's like it's a bit of crack, I suppose, like a bit of kind of like you're gamifying it, like, and there's a lot to be said in that, like it's a bit of crack, but yeah, I just kind of, I know what works for me, like, and like this, like a lot of the lads had them, and one of the funniest things, I never kind of let this creep into kind of my usage of it, but like they'd have like the best night's sleep ever, and I've heard this off a lot of people. They've had the best night's sleep ever, wake up, oh, I feel amazing, and then they get the notification on their phone and be like, oh, you slept like shit last night, your recovery is 1%, and then they'll be like, oh, I suppose I do feel bad now. I suppose I do feel like you're letting that kind of dictate how you
bias.
Yeah, exactly. Like it would, like, there was benefits in terms of like for heart rate and everything. That was kind of towards the end of my using them. I only really use it for like broadcasting heart rate on, because you can sync them up to like the concepts, the bikes and skiers. That was, I suppose, the only really useful thing that I had for them. Because obviously I'm training, I'm trying to do different heart rate zones. So I'm trying to, like, if I want to go max heart rate up to like, I saw actually, because I have a Garmin usually. We're not plugging any Garmins or anything. We're not advertising here. I have a watch that rhymes with Schmarmin. And yeah, like I'm just using that just day to day. But yeah, got it like my heart rate up to like 220 there, like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I think that's right.
I don't know. See, like there's only so, like, they can only be so accurate, and yeah, I don't think they're.
Yeah,
they're not.
I think they're quite accurate, right? I'm just not sure and reliable. I'm just not sure that. So I was reading some evidence earlier because I knew this was going to come up, and it was saying they're very effective at getting people who are of low level of activity to exercise more, which is really cool, really interesting.
Yeah, it's like that motivation kind of like.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like seeing the bit of reward on your wrist, like, okay, great, I got in some extra steps today. We know that more activity is usually beneficial for like the biggest benefits, health benefits, come from going from no activity to something.
Yeah.
And if the watch can help you do that, fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think so, and they're less useful for people who are, already quite active in hitting maybe the World Health Organization exercise guidelines. I think a good question to ask yourself is, like, if I lost this, like, by the way, I actually use this, mainly because I just, like, for messages and calls and all that kind of stuff. But if you got rid of this as an Apple Watch, rhymes with
Apple.
If you got rid of this, like, how would that? It'd be interesting question to ask yourself. How would it change you? Would you be okay? Would you be very stressed? If you'd be very stressed, if maybe your exercise would reduce, like, maybe it's a potential thing to, ask yourself, well, like, is this really helping me? I think we're potentially at risk of kind of trying to over optimize our health and less data dictate our mood and how we actually slept and how we actually feel.
Like, because I'd say there's people out there be like, oh, I can't find my Whoop. I'll give today a miss. Yeah. Oh, it didn't log. It didn't the activity. Count. Yeah, it was like, or like, oh, we're out of battery halfway through the session. Oh, like, I suppose, like.
Yeah, and I think it's knowing as well what kind of person you are. Like, they can actually potentially, for some people, reduce their quality and amount of sleep because they're stressing about it. Because now we know, it's like, beforehand you might have had a bad night's sleep. You didn't really know how bad it was. But now, like, okay, well, I got 3 hours and 30 minutes of sleep, like, and then you get stressed about it, and then you're even more anxious the next night. And also, the fitness technologies. So this is an Oura Ring, right?
More Ming.
So this is I got this so early on that I have free lifetime subscription. I got this about 8 years ago, longer maybe.
The Platinum Club.
Because I just used to love that stuff. But like it's out of battery for about a year, but it never changed my life. Like it never really improved my sleep or anything. So I just kind of stopped using it. But I just have it on my finger still.
Yeah.
But so the evidence shows that they're very good at telling us when we're asleep and when we're awake. But within that, then, just so people know, they're not very good at telling, what stage of sleep we're at, REM or deep. Or
like HRV and all that stuff.
They're not as accurate. Just a useful piece of information. But I think the person who asked this question said sometimes that the fit tech just prevents them from even, I think he said prevents them from even starting. So it's about kind of knowing what kind of person you are, and why do you really want this piece of technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you love numbers and you love data and stuff, like if you love that side of things, like go for it. But like if not having like a good sleep score or something is going to be something that's going to impact your whole day or week, like it is, like you said, know what kind of person you are.
Yeah, can't let it dictate your life.
Yeah, and like there is like so many other like fit tech out there. Like you have all the kind of like for like speed metrics and like for like CMJs, like jump height and all that like stuff. Like that's obviously great for telling you like for performance based things. But I think all these fit tech companies have now kind of like they've targeted, well, not targeted, I suppose. They've like their market is broadened to kind of like not just professional athletes, general populations, and like I said, some people love the data, but there's, I suppose, a double-edged sword sometimes.
Yeah, definitely not necessary. I don't think.
No.
Okay. Anything else on your mind that you want to bring up today?
Anything else on my mind? Anything else on the whiteboard that we've written behind the camera? Habits. It just says habits. Hobbits.
When was the last time you introduced a new habit? Was there? What can you remember?
Not really. See, like, I'm trying to think. It probably is like a small thing. It's like that Daily Stoic book.
Interesting.
Like it's that, and I actually haven't read it in the last like 2 days because I was just thinking of the game yesterday. I was like, so I forgot to read it.
Yeah.
And now I feel like you could feel like a small bit derailed. It's like, oh, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
I'll go back and read the 2 days of it, but
you can manage 2 days.
I can manage 2 days of reading. I read good.
Pages.
I read good. I think, but like habits in a nutritional performance sense. No.
I was going to say you haven't added any. Yeah.
Not really. I suppose it's just like it is for me. It's a day job doing all that stuff. It's very easy for me to make a habit of something that I suppose expected to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be very difficult for someone else to pick up, and that's around mindset, performance, nutrition, training. Like there's so many different kind of areas that like I nearly take for granted that it's just like a habit for me to do. It's just innate for me to do because I'm expected to do it for my job. But there's, I suppose, some people might find it incredibly hard to do like to pick up nutritional habits or like training habits.
Yeah.
Like I'd find it incredibly difficult picking up habits like for like household chores. I'm just like, I'm like my ADHD doesn't allow me to do that. No, like it allows me to do it. I'm just very like, it's that whole thing about hyperfocus. Like I'm very interested in things I like doing, so it's very hard for me to pick up new habits that I'm not very fond of doing, which my wife doesn't like. No.
The two things I don't really, habits don't really come up in conversation that much in consultations for me.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very easy to get quite black and white with habits. You know, it's like you might create like a habit score sheet or something, and you tick it off as you go. But then, you know, let's say you're trying to break. You don't want to break your streaks. Like you're trying to, how many days in a row can I get? And then whenever you miss a day, then you feel like, okay, I've kind of failed now.
Yeah.
So then you just maybe stop altogether. So I don't find that useful. The two things though that I have found useful. Number one is habit stacking. I do think this makes a lot of sense. So, you know, let's say you're trying to increase your water intake. Someone power hosing in the background there. Really annoying. You're trying to increase your water intake.
Someone just doing their job.
Trying to increase your water intake. So it's like, okay, I would often say to people, you know, what about first thing in the morning? You know, what's something you always do? Well, I have coffee. Okay, can you put the glass of water, the glass beside the coffee machine, so that like you know you're gonna have your coffee every single morning. That's like probably an addiction.
Yeah.
More than a habit. So the habit stacking is just adding something on to that routine.
Yeah.
I do find that I've done that with the Daily Stoic book as well. Every time I have my coffee in the morning, I read the Daily Stoic. If I don't have my coffee in the morning because I'm in a rush or whatever it is, I won't read the Daily Stoic.
Yeah.
Because like the coffee reminds me to have the Daily Stoic. That's habit stacking. I do think that can be quite useful for people. And the other thing is a lot of things we're trying to change with our nutrition and lifestyle don't always give us an immediate reward.
Yeah.
Like most of them are generally for our future self.
Yeah.
We're designed to just care about our present self. How can I survive right now? So like the brain gets a lot of reward. Like say for example alcohol or drugs, you get like an immediate reward, so they're like really, really addictive.
Yeah.
We are so sorry. Unfortunately, my phone ran out of storage at this point, so there's no more podcast to listen to. This is the end of the podcast. Please tune in next time. Really, really sorry about that. It won't happen again. Thank you for getting this far on the episode, and I hope you have a nice rest of the day. Thanks again.